Hey there, it's Jody. The summer heat has kept me out of the garden more than ever this year, but what hasn't changed is unraveling a couple of mysteries. Let's check out what I discovered in the latest garden tour. The garden has been through the roughest summer in years. Everything from scorching heat, soil deficiency, and a spider infestation. I was prepared for the summer heat with the shade cloth and the wood mulch, but I wasn't prepared for the spider infestation and the soil deficiency. By the end of July, I started to feel a little despair about the state of the garden, but then I replayed the memories I had when I started gardening and asked myself, what did I do years ago that I'm not doing today? The end result was potting soil and mint plants. First, let's talk about soil deficiency. The traditional method for gardeners is to take a soil test and based on the result, amend the nutrients that are lacking. I haven't done that in a couple of years, so that is the best route. But back when I was learning how to garden, I only did container gardening, so the only thing I would buy is potting soil. I also knew that liquid fertilizer is best for container gardening, as they are known to lose more nutrients than garden beds. So back then, I would place the older wood mulch in a bucket, then place the top few inches of old potting soil into another bucket. Then I would top off the garden pot with fresh potting soil and return the wood mulch. Any old potting soil that was placed in that bucket would get placed at the bottom of another garden pot. If I recall right, I did this method at least twice a year, early spring and late summer. This year, I tried to reduce the cost of buying potting soil, so I switched to garden soil, perlite, compost, and granular all-purpose fertilizer. Now that's not to say that's a bad thing, but I think I need to do some kind of research. As for the spider infestation, I'm not the type to kill garden spiders, but I have seen less pollinators in the garden this year, which could mean they're either repelling them or they're eating them. I tried to think of what I changed since last year, and I realized I moved all of the mint plants to the garden patch early this year. Since mint plants repel spiders, I purchased some to remind these spiderellas that the plants that provide food are off limits. Without further ado, here's the garden vista. Garden Alley has been through some rough times this year, thanks to the spiderellas and soil deficiency. I have been surprised at how much better last year's hibiscus plant is doing during the heat wave, and how these coneflowers from last month are still in bloom. Speaking of blooms, I have had nearly a dozen roses surface just in July. Realizing these blooms provided so much beauty, I went down to the garden nursery to pick up some more heat-loving plants. Here's what I came back with. This is the way I do therapy. So I bought 2 6-packs of these beautiful wild zinnias. Look at this. If that doesn't make you smile, I do not know what will make you smile. Look at that. There's one. And if you go to the nursery later in the season, you'll probably end up more like this. But I don't mind because I still have at least 3 more months where the zinnias can establish themselves, and as long as I have a good flower fertilizer. And then I've got some marigolds, and I love these burnt orange colors. Isn't that beautiful? And this is just going to be spread throughout the garden. And then I got this thing called Bacopa. These had bees just all over them. So naturally I got curious because they looked beautiful with just a whole bunch of them. And as I searched them online, I found out that they are used for elderly animals and they're supposed to help with memory. Isn't that gorgeous? I don't even know where I'm going to put it yet. It's got to be in a prominent spot. Come with me and let's see what it needs. Alright, so it says here, sun to part shade. Sun to part shade, so I can put it in the garden patch. I've been wanting to find some part shade plants for the garden patch, so we'll put it over here. So I am going to be putting these here. Alright, so I am going to be planting an orange mint and a peppermint, which is a little bit taller. The places that they'll be going, one right here, and I don't mind if it expands down here in this little flower patch because I can cut it back. And then for this guy, I want to make sure my cucumber and my squash over here stay happy. The lantern garden still has some squash and cucumbers, but they haven't been as productive this year. What has been lovely to look at is these calabrosia flowers. And I can't wait for the sunflower to be in bloom in the coming weeks. Future plants. Soil test the garden bed and amend the soil. As for the boardwalk, there's not much happening aside from the papaya plant that is now 3 feet tall. The banana plant has these side shoots growing. I know I'm supposed to cut some of these back, but I'm having a difficult time because they're so beautiful. As for the other plants, this pepper plant from last year is already in bloom. I normally don't see these type of blooms until September. There's also this beautiful plant vining near the chicory plant and a happy raspberry plant. Garden Belle needs a little revamp to prepare it for an autumn garden in the coming months. But check out this incredible sunflower. It's been a beautiful beacon of hope that some plants can thrive no matter what. Future plans for the area: amend soil, plant herbs, flowers, and eventually some brassicas and lettuce. The greenhouse is closed until the temperatures get cooler, but I am in the process of cleaning all of the garden containers to prepare for seed planting in the coming weeks. Since the first frost date is nearly 4 months away, I have a variety of plants I can still sow seeds for in August and September, such as cucumber, squash, beans, Malabar spinach, herbs, and some flowers like sunflowers, zinnias, and even coneflowers. But of course, I do want to start some seeds indoors for lettuce, brassicas, and anything else that I can do to jumpstart the autumn garden. The garden patch is looking pretty sad, but the highlight has been this new Baracopa plant. Thanks again for watching the latest garden tour. If you're interested in more videos like these, be sure to subscribe to Jody Gardens. Until next time.